Ads can be the most profitable thing you do or the most expensive mistake. It all comes down to one thing: what happens after the lead comes in. If you're not set up to turn leads into book jobs, reviews, and referrals, ads are not going to save you. And in this video, I'm going to show you the number one thing you need and why it comes before marketing. And if you want the full document from this video, plus SOPs, scripts, automations, and other tools that we give our clients, they're all inside my free Facebook group. You'll find a link for that below. And if you're more of a one-on-one type of person and want help building self for your business, there's also a link for that too, or we can chat one-on-one. Now let's start with what most HVAC owners don't want to hear, but they need to. Ads are not your problem. Whether they're Facebook, Google, or some local coupon site, the reason that they didn't work wasn't because the leads suck. And don't get me wrong, you can definitely get low quality leads, but this is not actually the main issue. The main issue is your business was not set up to handle leads in the first place. So here's what normally happens. You run ads and you get a flood of inquiries, some calls, some form submissions. Then your office just isn't prepared for the volume or the follow-up, which is a really critical part. Some people call, no one picks up, others fill out a form, but they don't get contacted for 24 to 40 hours. And the few that you do manage to talk to, you're just scrambling to fit them into your calendar. So what's happening is you're being reactive instead of proactive. And then after spending thousands of dollars, maybe you close one or two replacements if you're lucky, and you look at the end result and you say ads don't work. What if I told you that ads actually did their job? They got you the leads. It was just a lack of system that failed to convert them. Most HVAC companies are just pouring water into a bucket that's full of holes, and then they wonder why it never fills up. Ads are not going to be magic. Think of ads as just gasoline. And if you have an engine that doesn't work, more gas is not going to help. So when you break it down, the problem isn't about marketing, it's about infrastructure. You don't need better ads, you need a better system to handle the leads that you're already getting or that you're planning to get. So when we say infrastructure, let's take a look at what it actually means for your HVAC business. Is there a defined process to assign new leads? Assign them to either a dispatcher, office staff, or maybe a technician. Is someone following up with these leads right away? Is your team tracking where leads are in the sales journey? Are estimates being sent out in a timely manner? Is there a process for following up if customers don't respond to estimates? Are reviews and referrals being requested automatically after each job? And in most businesses, surprisingly, the answer is no, which means you're leaving a fortune on the table. So you don't actually need more leads. You just need to convert the ones that you already paid for. That's what a conversion system is for. It's not just a software or a CRM, it's the process, automation, and accountability that turns a lead into a customer and a customer into a review, referral, and repeat business. So before you even start thinking about traffic, you need to fix the tunnel that it travels through. I want to break it down even further. There's basically two types of HVAC companies. So HVAC company A is already running ads. This is a company that they already spend money maybe on Facebook, maybe on Google, and they're generating leads, but they're frustrated. Maybe they're jumping from agency to agency. They're spending thousands of dollars on ads and nothing's working. So some common issues with company A is some leads never get called back, or maybe they never even pick up the phone in the first place. Estimates are delayed and they're not followed up with consistently. Jobs are consistently falling through the cracks, and there's no way to tell if these leads are actually being followed up with or not. There's no structure to the follow-up process. And the end result is that they're going to blame the leads, blame the ads, blame the marketing agency, oh, these guys suck. Then they just stop advertising overall. But when you look at it, the problem wasn't actually the ad, it was just what happened after the lead came in. Then we have HVAC company B, which is they're more afraid to start advertising. They're more like of a cautious company. They're careful with their money. And they're hesitant because one or more of the following reasons. So they've heard maybe ads bring in bad leads. They don't have time to chase tire kickers, and they can't take on more jobs anywhere. And in reality, they actually are right to be cautious because they know that they don't have the proper systems in place, which means that all of these fears are going to become true. But with the right system, you're going to know that every single lead is followed up with instantly and automatically. And you can easily filter out tire kickers and focus on real buyers. And you can track what's working and what isn't. So the rule is really simple. I tried to break it down as simple as possible here. If you're running ads right now, you need to get the system in place to make the ads actually work effectively. If you haven't ran ads, Don't start running them until this foundation is built. Now let's talk about what actually needs to be in place before you run ads, or if you're already running them and you feel like they're not working. Most HVAC companies think a CRM or a spreadsheet or a whiteboard is enough. It's not. What you need is a conversion system, so something that doesn't just store these leads, but it actively moves them towards a sale while keeping your team accountable every single step of the way. So I'm going to show you really quickly what that looks like. The first part is instant follow-up that happens automatically. This is one of the most important parts of converting a lead, and it's what happens in the first 60 seconds. So if someone calls, no one picks up, or they fill out a form and they hear nothing for hours, you've already lost them to the next company. That's why the system instantly responds the moment a new lead comes in. So it's going to send them a personalized text message, a voicemail drop, an email, and it'll notify your team immediately. So it doesn't matter if you're on another job or your office is busy with paperwork, the system is going to be responding for you and holding that lead until you're ready to jump in and follow up. So this is the difference between chasing and closing. The next thing is it'll give you full visibility into every lead and every single job. So you're not going to be wondering what happened to that guy from last week. The system is going to track every single lead through every single step of the sales process. So when a new lead comes in and it's unassigned, when there's an assigned lead, an appointment set, estimate needs to be sent, estimate sent, and so on. So these are all stages that the system will be tracked in. So think of it of having like a bird's eye view of your entire pipeline. You're going to be able to see where money is sitting, where deals are stalling, and what needs attention. And most HVAC businesses lose jobs because things just slip through the cracks, and this system closes those cracks permanently. Next is built-in accountability for you and your team. So one of the biggest issues in service businesses is that people aren't actually held accountable. There's no consistent follow-up and jobs aren't being scheduled right away. So all these small delays are actually costing you jobs. The system assigns tasks automatically, like we need to send an estimate to this person. We need to follow up with this estimate. We need to schedule this job, and we need to connect this post-job check or collect this post-job checklist. It removes the need for you to micromanage or rely on your memory, and everyone knows exactly what to do next. Nothing gets skipped. It becomes a systematized process. Next is review generation and referral requests on autopilot. So if you're not asking for reviews or referrals after each job, you're just leaving free marketing on the table. So once a job is complete, the system automatically sends out review requests and asks for referrals in a natural, non-pushy way, and it reminds customers if they don't respond to it. You grow your online reputation and unlock word of mouth leads without having to manually ask every single time or rely on your text to just ask for these things. Then you're going to get real-time reporting that you can actually use. So data isn't going to lie. You might think you have your processes down perfectly, but when you track everything, the numbers are going to tell you how many leads you got this month, how many of them turned into appointments, how many of them got estimates, how many of them became jobs, and how many are still stuck somewhere in the process. So you can actually start making decisions based on what's really happening, not just guesswork, assumptions, or what someone said in the office. And the key point is that it's not just a software, it's a sales system. It's not just about having the tool. This is a framework that's built around the way that HVAC businesses work. It makes sure that your business responds faster than your competitors, moves every single lead to the finish line, stops profit from leaking out of the sales process. It's not about more leads, it's just about what you're doing with the leads that you already have. And when you have all of this in place, then you can actually start running ads because now you can actually turn these leads into money reliably, repeatedly, and profitably. I want to show you really quickly how this right system turns ads into profit. So let's say a company spends $5,000 on ads in 1 month and gets 50 leads. So this is going to be $100 per lead. Now, here's where it gets interesting. We're going to compare two companies, company A, which doesn't have a conversion system in place, and company B, which does. So as I said, company A here has no system, just hope. And this is actually what most HR companies do. Leads come in through a form or a phone call. Maybe someone follows up, maybe not. There's no automation, no structure, and no visibility into where leads are in the process. So what usually happens is out of 50 leads, they follow up with only 20. So they convert 6 of these 20 into jobs, which is about a 30% close rate. Of the 6 jobs, 75% are repairs or services at $500 a ticket, which comes to 2.2K. And 25% of these are replacements at $5,000 each, which comes to $7,500. So the total revenue from this company A is $9,750. With $5,000 in ad spend, they profit $4,750 before any other costs, like overhead or paying your technicians. So on the surface, they made money, but they left 44% of their leads untouched and lost thousands in potential revenue. I want to show you company B that actually has systems in place. So they're using conversion system. The biggest change is every lead is followed up with instantly and persistently. Every lead is tracked through every single stage, new contacted appointment book, etc., and nothing is slipping through the cracks. So here's how it actually plays out. Out of 50 leads, they're following up with all 50, not like company A where they only follow up with 20 because they have no idea how to handle volume. Company B follows up with all 50 leads. They convert 20 of them into jobs, which is a 40% close rate, which is actually very realistic with a strong follow-up sequence. And out of these jobs, 75% of them are repairs or services, which turns to 15 jobs at $500, which comes to $7,500 total. And let's say 25% of these are replacements, which turns to 5 jobs at $5,000, so $25,000 in total. Now the total revenue goes all the way up to basically $33,000 with ad spend. The profit comes to about $28,000 before other costs. This is nearly 6 times the profit with the same ad spend just by having the right system in place. Same ads, same leads, completely different outcome. Both companies spent the same amount and they got the same number of leads, but company B walked away with nearly $23,000 more in revenue just by having a system in place that made sure no lead got left behind, no step got skipped, and no money was lost to disorganization or forgetfulness. That's why we always say if you're running ads, get the system in place to make the ads actually work effectively. And if you aren't running ads yet, don't until you build everything that I just talked about. It's not the leads that are the problem, it's the systems that you're using or you're not using to turn those leads into cash. If you couldn't tell by now, tracking and having the right system is not optional. It's actually the foundation for everything else. So before you even think about running ads, paying $5,000 a month for SEO, or even dumping money into any lead generation, you need to ask yourself, can my business actually handle and convert these leads into profit? Because what happens when you don't have that foundation, you're going to pay for leads, they're going to get lost in a messy inbox or a forgotten voicemail. You're going to spend thousands on SEO. No one's going to follow up with the new calls it brings in. You're going to run Facebook ads and you don't even know which leads are actually turning into jobs or how much revenue these jobs are bringing in. You're essentially just burning money to collect leads you're not prepared to handle. And as I've said many, many times, it's exactly like pouring water into a bucket full of holes. More leads are not going to fix this problem. Plugging the holes will. And when you have a conversion system that tracks every single step from the moment a lead comes in to the moment that a job is won or lost, that's when the game changes. So now all of a sudden, you're not guessing, you're not hoping. You know exactly where your money's going, where leads fall off and why, which is a really important part, and what needs to be fixed to turn more of these leads into revenue. And when you do decide to scale up into ads and SEO, you're scaling something that already works. You're not gambling, you're not wasting your money anywhere. You're investing in a proven, trackable, and optimized process. If you're wondering where to start here with this system. Before Facebook ads, before Google ads, before SEO. Fix your system, track the process, plug the holes, then pour gas on the fire. Anyway, if you want the full breakdown from this video, as I mentioned earlier, plus SOPs, scripts, automations, and other tools that we give our clients, they're all inside our free Facebook group. I'll find a link for that below. And again, as I've mentioned, if you are more of a one-on-one type of person, you want help from me and my team to build this out for your business, there's a link for that too.